Hi everyone, it's Adrienne Leah. This is a review for the Sun and Moon Tarot by Vanessa Decourt. I put the tidbit of the minor arcana spread out to show you guys the colors for each suit. And I tend to go to the left side because I'm a lefty. So it starts off with the kings and then it decreases down to the aces. So this is the full sized. I did trim mine. With fresh contemporary artwork, Sun and Moon Tarot gives a modern twist to ancient cultural symbols from spiritual systems as varied Kabbalism and Taoism. By playfully incorporating mythology and astrology, Vanessa Decourt gives unique interpretations of traditional tarot, presenting a deck that is both insightful and accessible. So this is a Thoth-based deck. But if you know how to read other systems of tarot, reading this deck wouldn't be difficult. Tarot symbolism and the meanings of tarot have expanded and evolved over time of people putting their interpretations for certain meanings. And not to say that there isn't the traditional meanings in there, but there are symbols that are representing it that can broaden your horizons of different interpretations. Whereas if you look at, maybe if you look at the Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck, you might have that specific mentality of those symbols. So I did make a tarot bag for this one. And it fits the guidebook in here as well. So I knitted this part and then I crocheted the wrap, which I do sometimes because I like how it wraps around. It reminds me of a book, and it also helps me if I don't have a button for it. I do have some buttons, but I thought that this would look a little cleaner if I just kept it with the braids and then I had its own braid to wrap around. I'll show you the size comparison of how much I trimmed. So this is a card about the author. I'll get into the bio that she has in the book too. This is the extra card, and these are the backs. I'm planning on coloring just a certain section of the mandala. I have cut off just the white border on the back, but it doesn't cut off the wording, and then there's wording at the top that I kept too. I felt like they were a bit wide for what I wanted for the cards, and now I love them. They're a little smaller than the Slavic Tarot, and the Slavic Tarot is a self-published deck on Etsy. And the cardstock is matte, and it feels like the velvet type of cardstock. It is a bit thin, but it thickens up a bit when it thickened up when I trimmed it, or it felt like it did, stiffened. You can see that I have them in order, and the colors of each suit, which is really nice. I would say that this is my calmest Thoth deck. It really feels more warmer, like season-wise. It has a dominant water energy, but there is a noticeable air aspect of it too. But it does depict the different elements. But that's what I noticed when I was doing my readings. The numbers got a little cut off at the top, or the numerical symbols, but they're still identifiable when I see them. And also it's written at the bottom, and based on the imagery you can see what it is. And what's interesting is that it isn't an intrusive deck. It is a calming one, and it feels a bit non-judgmental because it goes by Jungian archetypes, and you could see that they're faceless, and it just gives the impression of being calm. You could see that the figures have dreaded hair, and they are, I'm gonna go through the deck, but they look like they're in motion of what the card is, what the card traditionally means. So I'll go through the deck after I talk about the little white book. So this is a nice book. I actually keep it in the bag with the deck, and I'll give an example in the beginning, reading about the Fool card, so you can get an idea of the symbolism that's in the deck, and then I will pull out a card and then read from it again. So in the beginning, there's the instructions to tarot and separate. So the Justice card is 8 in the Major Arcana, and it goes through a bit of history and using the tarot, the Thoth. You can feel the influence of the artist in the deck, or you can see it. So I'll read the excerpt that she has. So Vanessa de Court received her art education in St. Lucas Art School, Brussels, where she earned a degree in graphic design and illustration. After completing her studies, she worked as an illustrator of children's book and designer of book covers. Vanessa now teaches art classes at the Academy of Art while working on her own creative projects. Her illustrations explore fairy tales, myths, fantasy as well as her own experiences. Since she was a teenager, Vanessa de Court has been attracted to astrology, Jungian psychology, alchemy, Kabbalism, I hope I'm saying that right, and symbols around the world. Her first tarot deck was the Thoth Crowley, in which she found an illustrated guidebook to the mysteries of life. Vanessa created the Sun and Moon Tarot to deepen her understanding of tarot messages and share them with others. The Sun and Moon Tarot incorporates the archetypes and symbols of many cultures. I love the this spread here. It's a simple one. It's the yin yang reading, but there's 4 cards. Those are clarifier cards for the yin and yang cards. And the minor arcana is shorter than the major arcana, but I don't mind that because I do like how a minor arcana feels more minor, and then the major arcana meanings have a bit more substance. So my door's open. I might have to pause a bit if my dogs or my husband's coming in. And you can see that the meanings are longer here for the major arcana. I really like the word choices for the deck. And I like how the meanings tend to be more psychological. And she goes over the symbolism of what she put in the card. So I'll start with the Fool card. And I say a lot, you start with the Fool, you end with the Fool. So in case I didn't show it for very long, you guys can read the introduction. Then the mandala separates that section of the book. So the Fool, linked to Uranus, associated with principles of courage, ecstasy without fear, acting impulsively, encourages us to take risks and develop our female and male sides to reach wholeness. The tiger of the Oriental symbol for fear. The card depicts Caduceus, the staff of Mercury or Hermes, and the Egyptian wand of vision. It represents intuition, health, well-being, and healing. The butterfly and the spiral symbolize transformational process. From caterpillar to butterfly, the self grows and evolves. The crocodile denotes creative vision and strength. The sun and sea unite fire, energy, vision, and water feelings. The Hebrew character Aleph is the symbol of the ox, represents wholeness. So it has nice information in here, and I love reading symbols when I'm doing my readings. And even with the Thoth system in general, I might say Thoth too, to make the pronunciation better for me. How that system feels a bit more, in a way, grounded to life experience. There is a bit of spirituality in here, but it seems like it is taken from a human, almost, an alchemical type of interpretation of it. So I'll go through the cards. And I love the simplicity of it, but there is detail to it. It is a calm deck, which is a bit surprising. Sorry, I keep saying a bit. It is surprising for a Thoth deck, because I do love intense decks. The Marielle, it can give striking readings. This one, it does it in a way where it makes you react in, I don't want to say balanced, but at a different perspective, seeing the whole picture. And you can see the Kabbalah at the top. So this deck has been out for a while. There has been reprintings, and it came out in 2010. I love the movement of the bulls. I want to say oxes or bulls. And I love butterflies, so this is amazing for the Justice card because I'm a Libra. And the Sanskrit. And it feels so wise too. And the time there. And it looks limitless because you can't really see where it is in the staff. I like the gears for the Wheel of Fortune. It reminds me of when I had my stick shift car and you had to balance, and it also reminds me of playing piano too because I played piano. Well, I had lessons for over 13 years and I had violin lessons for over 5 years. This strength card is sweet. I love the phoenix for death, rebirth. And I like again, the keywords are, they have clear interpretations. I think that you can do a lot of practical readings with this, or get yourself grounded in the water energy. I love the nature that's in here. It feels like a fluid deck because of the coloring and because they don't have a lot of contrast. Ion. I love the different cultures. So I'm starting off with the wands. Now I'll go for the pentacles, then the swords, the cups, and the wands. It has sacred geometry. You could see the yin and yang here. Different correspondences. This one's fun because it's a sandcastle. This seems like more of a psychological take on it. The Five of Pentacles. Success for the Six of Pentacles. And it's interesting that she's drawing a spiral, like a cycles, and the top says failure. And then there's the dowsing symbols at the top for the elements. Sorry, I didn't talk a lot for the major arcana. Looks like the wall's down, its openness. It looks like it's reflecting off of the sun. And I like this one because it looks like they're respecting the tree. So it's Princess and Prince for the court cards. And he's holding a shield that looks like the pentacles in here. I might do the yin and yang spread. And there's the copyright at the corner. It doesn't bother me that much, or at all. I didn't notice it. I love her hair up. I like how it denotes thoughts for the swords. I love when the cards have the swords at the bottom. And you can see the Thoth depiction. It feels like a straightforward deck. I haven't used it for a bit, and that's what I wanted to do. I colored the backs because I had them in order, and I have a list of decks that I'm doing reviews for. So this is the one that was next on the list. And it's interesting when the queen and king are moving, and then the prince and princess are the still ones. I always reference Rick and Morty. It reminds me of the episode where they had the talking heads. And this is a fun one too, with the ravens or the crows. But it makes sense that they're moving too. I like the warmth of the air suit though. It's probably one of my favorite air suits. I like the desert feeling of or look of the pentacles. The cups have the deep blues, and you could see the reflective cup. I love the image for the box. I like the environment that decks have. It's important to me when I look at the deck. And this one's a nice depiction too, because you could be transforming your thoughts. If maybe materialism. Which is what I'm getting because of what's been going on. I think the words fit well with me. Because when I read tarot, it's more for self-growth, self-development. Even if you aren't one that practices the craft or does certain things with the tarot, which I do, but I also like to think of it as one that you can use when, even if you aren't one to believe in that stuff, you can still get benefits from reading tarot. And you could see the cups with the lilies. It reminds me of my grandma because her name is Lily. And even the water, how it has like the bubbles. And the dolphins. Because dolphins are wise creatures. I like how it's depicted with the cups too. And an ibis. Since moving down to Florida, because my husband's from Florida, I have been seeing ibises a lot. That's not the plural, but they're in the backyard because there's a giant pond, and they're in the front yard, and there's the ducks. So it's fun seeing them. Because I've never seen them before until I moved down here. So the wands is an interesting one. It kind of looks like a tower, but it looks man-made. You could see that it's cut and it was set on fire. It's an interesting one because it looks like there's needing to have some type of strategy to get past the fires or how to control the fires. This one's a fun one too. Because they still have to have some management because there's flames underneath them. So it's interesting how you can get different meanings, because right now it looks like she's trying to call out for help, but this could also be like a celebration type of dance or ritual. And I like how it talks about swiftness in the Eight of Wands. There's a simplicity, but you can also get a lot from the meanings because they're clear messages. I love the Queen of Wands in here too. And this one's interesting because it kind of looks like the horse is trying to put out the fire or victory. So I'm going to do the yin yang spread. I'll read that one. Select 2 cards from the Sun and Moon Tarot deck. You may do this either while looking at the images or simply allow the card's energy to direct you to an appropriate selection. 2 cards face up side by side, edges touching. What characteristics of the card do I recognize in myself in the situation? What do these traits influence me? How do these traits influence me? Strengthen the undeveloped side of yourself. Okay. Now consider what elements may be missing in your life. For example, do you lack courage or patience to achieve your heart's desires? Turn the attention to the card. What does this card indicate? Help fill the gaps in your life. Perhaps there are qualities hidden within the dark side that simply need to be illuminated. Allow this card to help you find strength in the undeveloped side of yourself. If you need further clarification, select 2 more cards and lay them below the first pair. Left guide you in recognizing what outer obstacles or inner resistance may be hindering your journey. Turn the focus to the card on the right. Explore the card that can help you remove obstacles or reconcile oppositional energy in order for you to reach your highest level of success. So I'm going to pull out 4 cards. And they shuffle easily. And the tin version that's smaller than this, they have different borders to them. So for my yin energy, I got the Chariot. And it feels dominant too, right now. And the yang energy, I got the 6 of Wands. So I feel like with the yang energy, as I mentioned with interpreting the 6 of Wands earlier, this one maybe needs to be balanced in how it can be with the Prince of Cups. And this could be looking into prioritizing what is important at this time. And with the Tower, where the yin, I have the Tower, and also striking energy, which makes me feel like something might be coming out of nowhere with that, and having to navigate myself through this cycle. And I'll do a final card. And I got the Judgment. Sorry, I have a husky. I have 2 huskies and 2 cats. This could be relief. This could be symptoms cured from the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands feels a bit neglected. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about the deck or any questions for me, you can email me on my website. Thank you.